Hey everybody, Shane Terrio here. Thanks for joining me on the channel. If you're a repeat customer, thanks for coming back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hey, I'm going to drop some knowledge on you guys today. I get asked a lot, Shane, you work with all these different artists and, I see you on live from Daryl's house. And how do you guys learn all this music? And you have any tips and things I can do to learn music quicker, songs, and remember? Yes, actually, I do. In my 30 plus years of being a pro guitar player, I have my own system. And this works whether or not you're rehearsing for your weekly blues jam or doing live from Daryl's house with Robert Fripp and having to play King Crimson standing next to Robert. This still works. It's all applicable. And I'm going to show it to you right now. The way I thought would be the best way to teach you guys my little system is to show you a week in my schedule, the next week coming up right now, what I have going on musically and how I'm actually using this system right now. I used it today before I sat down to make this video. So how does it work? Okay. First thing, you got to get organized. Now that's a no-brainer, I know, but here's what I mean. You get the material first. Everything, you put it in one place, okay? What does that mean? Playlists. I use playlists. I get the music, the MP3s from the artist. I create a playlist. I use Pro Tools and Logic. If you don't have those, iTunes works. Create a playlist, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing, before you pick up a guitar or whatever your instrument is, get the music in your head. Very important. Get the music in your head before you sit down. There's a lot of reasons for this. You're going to overcome a lot of obstacles if you just know the general song structure and what you're working with. So I'll, be stuck in traffic or go for a run or whatever. I'll listen to the material first a few times through before I even pick up a guitar. I'm making mental notes. My brain, my subconscious is making mental notes. And when I sit down with the instrument to actually learn the stuff, I've eliminated a lot of things already that you don't realize. That's very, very important. Okay. Playlists, get the music in your head first. Number 3, when I sit down to learn the material, I use a timer. Now, this is my GIT training. Howard Roberts came up with this. He loved 20-minute increments. Okay, I think it's called Pomodoro technique, named after an Italian tomato timer. You can look it up. It's a great technique. I use it a lot in other aspects of my life. But for music, you set the timer. Now, if I'm sitting down, like for instance, Howard Jones, I'm working with Howard Jones at the end of the month with Daryl Hall. He just sent me 17 songs yesterday. I was on the phone with him. He sent me all these songs, specific things he wants. I put it in a playlist and I will set a timer for something like that for maybe an hour. And I'll just go through after I've listened to this stuff and I'll start shedding and I'll go as far as I can go in an hour. And I'll generally make my 2 or 3 times through each song, make notes. When that hour is up, I'm out. I turn it off. I go outside. I sit out, get some air, take a break, put the instrument down, come back, hit it again. If you do that 3 times in a row in a day, even if it's not an hour, I guarantee you, and no distractions. You got to turn your phone. You got to turn the ringer off. Don't take text. Don't do anything except focus. You'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish. I use that a lot. I'll do another video on it at some point about how to practice that way. So that's what are we up to? 4 things. Playlists, get the music in your head. I put time frames on everything and I use a timer. I thought I would show you guys a real thing on my schedule. So I'm going to show you how I'm using this now. On Wednesday, I have a session for a movie. And the composer sent me 5 cues or 6. Everything I have here as well, there should be pretty simple. Everything is written out. It's very specific what he wants. So I've got everything right in front of me. And this is kind of an old school Memphis Stax vibe he wants on this. So he sent me the cues, don't have drums on it yet. But he's also sent me references. So that's an Otis Redding too, but he wants me to cop the guitar vibe on that. So, getting to gear, that's what I do last, but I'll probably, for that, I'll make a note. Okay, yeah, 330 P90s or this 63 Guild Starfire and a Tele, maybe a deluxe, minimal effects, maybe a wah or something, and that'll cover that. Bob Malone's an artist I work with a few times over the years. He's a great keyboard player, plays with John Fogerty. I've worked on a couple of his records, but it's been a long time. But I have a gig with him next week. I've got everything organized. It's like 17 songs. So I can just, I've got all his charts right in front of me. I can reference anything he may want. Any tricky bits, I write them out. I circle them rather, highlight. There's a lot of slide on this stuff, so, you know. But again, I can reference any song at the click of a button. Now, a word about charts. If you have charts, beautiful, use them. Not every artist wants you to use them. Some of the pro level guys, it depends. If you're doing a show at the Grammys, a one-off, this gig I have with Bob from John Fogerty's band coming up next week, it's just a one-off. It's a serious gig, but I'm going to use charts. I'm going to shed it. I'm not going to be buried in the charts, but I'll have them for reference because it's like 17 songs. But if you're like Howard Jones, or you're on Daryl's House or a TV show, you generally don't want to use charts. It's only to retain the stuff, and then you put them away because it doesn't look good on camera and it's not very pro. You want to be able to make eye contact. You want to be able to let that part of your brain go. So that's about charts. But always keep your charts. If you have charts, keep them. You never know when an artist is going to call back. I've had this happen so many times. I'll show you guys a video I made of some of the charts I found today, poking around my bookshelf. Here's some charts from Boss Skaggs that I hang on to because you never know. I've gotten called for that for a few times over the years. I've worked with him about 3 years on and off. Look at this breakdown ahead. Tour 88, that's probably Landau and Lukather used this. You can tell this is old school copy. Before Sibelius, man, those charts. Must have cost a fortune to do that back then. I've still got set lists, with notes. All these set lists, very useful stuff to have. You never know. This is my list that I was working with back then, and it's got which guitars I was using, which effects I was using. This is a list I was working with back then. It's got Boz's songs, what we were going to rehearse, what songs I was using during all the rehearsals. We rehearsed for about a week. Still using some of those guitars today. I keep everything. I had a drummer call me a month ago. Hey man, I'm doing this one-off with Larry Carlton. You still have your charts from when you worked with him? Yes, actually I have. I'm looking for a chart, room 335. I have it. And it's helpful to help other cats out. So that's my word on charts. The last thing is gear. Now, some of you guys are like, man, that's the first thing I think of. Nope, it's the last thing for me anyway. That's the easiest thing. The TV session I have next week, the film session, Tibbs, the composer, wanted period correct kind of guitar sounds, and he sent me some Motown Stax things. So I showed you guys. I'll pick up a couple vintage guitars and a Tele for a cropper thing. That'll cover that. If it's something like the Bob Malone gig I'm doing, it's a low pressure thing for me. It's fun. I've worked with him before. If I wanted to try a new amp or something, I'll bring it, If it's something high pressure, I'm going to bring stuff I know is full, bulletproof. It's going to work. But that's my thing on gear. I mean, that should come last. You got to get the music under your fingers first. Yeah, so and other things for me, I have to plan ahead because my gear I use for Daryl's and Hall & Oates and Live from Daryl's House is in New York. So I have all that rig there. But this guitar I want to use, I'm doing a gig with Oz Noy on December 5th in New York City. And we're ending our tour with Howard like a week before. So I want to have this guitar. So I have to make a note, bring this guitar to have it over there. Things like that I have. That's gear stuff for me to move things around. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you get something out of it. Let me know in the comments how this works out. Maybe if you guys want to see a live stream or something, I'll figure out how to do that. Thank you for your support. Give me a like, subscribe, thumbs up. See you next time. Shane Terrio out.